Nares, nostrils, the opening in the nose through which air enters. Nastic movement, a plant's response to a stimulus in which the direction of the response is independent of the direction of the stimulus. Non-directional plant movements. Nectaries, nectar-secreting organs in flowering plants that serve as insect feeding stations and thus attract insects, which then assist in the transfer of pollen. Negative feedback, the stopping of the synthesis of an enzyme by the accumulation of the products of the enzyme-mediated reaction. Nectonic organisms, swimmers, one of the two main types of organisms in the pelagic zone of the marine biome. Nephridium, the excretory organ in batworms and other invertebrates, a blind-ended tubule that expels waste through an excretory pore. Nephron, a tubular structure that is the filtering unit of a kidney, consists of a glomerulus and renal tubule. Nerve cord, a dorsal tubular cord of nervous tissue above the notochord of a chordate. Nerve net, an interconnected mesh of neurons that sends signals in all directions, found in radially symmetrical marine invertebrates such as jellyfish and sea anemones that have no head region or brain. Neural tube, a tube of ectoderm in the embryo that will form the spinal cord. Neuromuscular junction, the point where a motor neuron attaches to a muscle cell. Neurons, highly specialized cells that generate and transmit bioelectric impulses from one part of the body to another. The functional unit of the nervous system, a cell of the nerve tissue having a cell-body input zone of dendrites and an output zone of an axon of varying length. The electrochemical nerve impulse or message is transmitted by neurons. Neurotoxin, chemical that paralyzes nerves. Neurotoxins are produced by a variety of organisms, most notably by some of the heterotrophic dinoflagellates. Neutron, an uncharged subatomic particle in the nucleus of an atom, the large, mass approximately equal to 1 atomic mass unit, electrically neutral particle that may occur in the atomic nucleus. Non-vascular plants, plants lacking lignified vascular tissue system, which is the xylem, vascularized leaves, and have a free-living, photosynthetic gametophyte stage that dominates the life cycle. Common examples are the mosses and liverworts. Nucleoid, the area of the prokaryotic cytoplasm where the chromatin is localized. Nucleolus, a round or oval body in the nucleus of a eukaryotic cell, consists of DNA and RNA and produces ribosomal RNA. Occipital lobe, the lobe of the cerebral cortex located at the rear of the head. It is responsible for receiving and processing visual information. Oils, triglycerides that are liquid at room temperature. Oncogenes, genes that can activate cell division in cells that normally do not divide or do so only slowly. A gene that when overexpressed leads to cancer, but which normally functions in cell division. Oocyte, a cell that will or is undergoing development into a female gamete. Oogenesis, the production of ova, the development of a diploid cell into a haploid ovum or egg cell. Organelles, cell compounds that carry out individual functions. Example, the cell nucleus and the endoplasmic reticulum. Subcellular structures usually membrane-bound and unique to eukaryotes that perform some function. Example, chloroplast, mitochondrion, nucleus. Organism, an individual composed of organ systems if multicellular. Multiple organisms make up a population. Organs, differentiated structures consisting of tissues and performing some specific function in an organism. Structures made of two or more tissues which function as an integrated unit. Example, the heart, kidneys, liver, stomach, etc. Osmoregulation, the regulation of the movement of water by osmosis into and out of cells, the maintenance of water balance within the body. Osmoregulators, marine vertebrates whose body fluids have about one-third the solute concentration of seawater, must therefore undergo osmoregulation. Osmosis, diffusion of water molecules across a membrane in response to differences in solute concentration. Water moves from areas of high water or low solute concentration to areas of low water, high solute concentration. Diffusion of water across a semi-permeable barrier such as a cell membrane from high water potential or concentration to lower water potential or concentration. Osmotic pressure, pressure generated by water moving by osmosis into or out of a cell. Ossification, the process by which embryonic cartilage is replaced with bone. Osteoarthritis, a degenerative condition associated with the wearing away of the protective cap of cartilage at the ends of bones. Bone growths or spurs develop, restricting movement and causing pain. Osteoblasts, bone-forming cells. Osteocytes, bone cells that lay down new bone, found in the concentric layers of compact bone. Bone cell, a type of connective tissue. Osteoporosis, a disorder in which the mineral portion of bone is lost, making the bone weak and brittle, occurs most commonly in postmenopausal women. Oviducts, tubes that connect the ovaries and the uterus, transport sperm to the ova, transport the fertilized ova to the uterus, and serve as the site of fertilization, also called the fallopian tube or uterine tubes. Ovum, the female gamete, egg. Oxidation, the loss of electrons from the outer shell of an atom, often accompanied by the transfer of a proton and thus involves the loss of a hydrogen ion, the loss of electrons or hydrogens in a chemical reaction. Oxytocin, a peptide hormone secreted by the posterior pituitary that stimulates the contraction of the uterus during childbirth. Ozone, a triatomic O3 form of oxygen that is formed in the stratosphere when sunlight strikes oxygen atoms. This atmospheric ozone helps filter radiation from the sun.